Here we go now.
What I got to give it to you, dog.
Yeah.
You do a little dance and then you do a little walk up. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away.
Here we go now.
Give it away, give it away, give it away now.
Just give it away, nigga. Break the rock.
Don't stop,
Break the rock.
don't stop,
Break the rock.
don't stop, continue.
Break the rock.
Don't stop.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. The name is J.H. J.H., what's going on? Good. I just waited. I did a little pause for you guys to respond. All right, so it took a little while, took a little bit of research, took a little bit of me calling a couple people. I didn't realize I had so many people that I knew personally that worked for the Amazon, so I wanted to make sure that I was clear and I had the right information before I gave you the information regarding USPS versus Amazon. So let's get it. USPS versus Amazon. We're going to talk about the work life. We're going to talk about the monetary benefits. We're going to talk about the different types of jobs they have and the different type of jobs we have. And we're going to compare apples to apples. We're not going to compare an apple to a giraffe. No, apples to apples. So let's get it. Some people that work for USPS, they get to the point where I know a lot of the carriers, they say, you know what, screw this, I'm going to go work for Amazon. It won't be an Amazon delivery driver. So let's talk about what an Amazon delivery driver does. Well, actually, who they actually work for. When you see the guys that come and deliver to your door, do they work for Amazon? They work for an Amazon contractor. They do not work for Amazon directly. The ones that are delivery drivers work for a contractor, an individual that has a few select routes. This is kind of like how FedEx works. I have a few select routes, and they buy these routes, and then they lease these vehicles, these vans, and they get and hire a few people, pay them a certain fixed rate. Typically the range is between $15 to $18 an hour. I don't see very many people making $18 an hour as delivery drivers, but I believe it's more so the 16 to 18. But that's what we're looking at. Do they get paid overtime as an Amazon delivery driver? No. From the 3 people that I spoke with, they do not get paid overtime. Versus the CCAs and the carriers, they do. If you know anything about watching any of my videos, the pay scales and everything are in one of my videos describing exactly what carriers do and their pay scales. So what do they typically make? Their typical day starts anywhere between 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and they work until they're finished. That's the similarity right there. They work until they're finished. Our carriers work typically until they get all their mail out, but we have restrictions because there comes to a point when they say, hey, no overtime, so they may make sure all their carriers are back at 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. and that may be the cutoff. That usually lasts for a season or during a period where they're just trying to cut back on overtime. Now with Amazon, those guys will be delivering until 8, 9 o'clock, sometimes 10 o'clock at night. And they're getting paid by the hour. They're getting paid by the hour. And one of them said that they are getting taxes taken out of their checks. They get a uniform allotted to them with their little vests. What else? They get the uniform, the vest, Uh, how long is their process to get hired? Anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. How long is our process? It could be anywhere between minimum 4 weeks to 3 months, maybe, to get into the United States Postal Service. Do they have regular training with the Amazon delivery drivers? They have some training. They get trained how to scan their packages on, how to scan their packages off. They have GPS. They are monitored straight through their routes. They're they work under a very controlled environment, which is good because Amazon is usually on point. Usually on point. That's how they're able to pull off their same day deliveries. So while we're sitting at home saying, oh yeah, I need these shavers today, and this driver just happens to be on your route. He's praying he's gonna get through the day, and then you decide, you know what, I don't wanna go to Walmart. I don't wanna go to Walgreens to go buy myself a shaver. Let me just order it. Well, this guy's ready to get home, and then boop, you go buy it. Now he has to, oh man, when I get back to my plant, to my warehouse, I gotta go pick up these people that wanted same day delivery. So, are they happy? Well, let's go back. They have to go back to the warehouse. They have to go scan that stuff, and then they gotta go right back out. And then they may have passed your house before, but they're gonna come back and they're gonna deliver that. So they're pretty efficient. Now we're talking about the work environment. We're not talking about efficiency. They have to go and they're working, they're grinding. Comparing CCAs to Amazon delivery people, who makes more? CCAs. Who works longer hours? Almost comparable, but Amazon works straight through the day until all their deliveries that they have to have are out. That's factual. Who's happier? So far, because Amazon delivery is a new thing, and we're talking about the Amazon delivery drivers, they have a turnover rate. Usually the people will last there for about a year, maybe a little more. Reason being is because they want something with more benefits. I'm gonna assume with a retirement, so on and so forth. And unfortunately, their Amazon delivery drivers don't have that option at the moment. Things may change. It's usually for a younger crowd, and they're usually happy gung-ho because they're making, stacking up bread. But do they have lives? Shh. They complain more than our people at the United States Postal Service. Almost comparable. Now their managers, when it comes down to them, their managers are different because their managers is usually the one guy that owns the route. If it's a family member, they may grind and, hey, look, man, I need you to get all this stuff out because they have to fulfill their contract obligations. So long as you fulfill your routes, get home, so on and so forth. I believe some of them will get bonuses, but again, it's an individual that owns the route, so they may get their bonuses, but they are not even in our pay scale. Honest to God, they're not in our pay scale. Now let's talk about the warehouse work. Our warehouse work is totally different. You can't compare that. It's like no comparison. We're handling letters, we're handling parcels, we're handling Amazon packages, as well as FedEx, all the other different companies. So we're talking about their warehouse. They have a very extremely high-tech controlled environment. They have cameras that can zoom in on a nickel, on a dime, and tell you the year of the dime in their warehouses. Everything is extremely controlled. They have a bunch of these little, they almost look like milk crates. They're bins that they have set up around the warehouse. and you're a worker bee. You are a worker bee. They have one, and they don't interact very much. They have people in stations, and the things are so controlled, organized to a degree. Absolutely. Um, is there room for promotion when you work inside of Amazon? More than likely, yes. This is from my cousin. He's up in North Carolina. He works there. Um, he had a couple issues, and I'm just again comparing to what I've been told. His issues were is that the managers, once they hit managerial positions, because this is again a new company, you have a regular worker and you have another worker. They both came in together. The other worker excelled and he became a manager. Now he needs to meet on-time demands, and because Amazon is so structured, they have to push out those numbers. They have to push out those packages. They are going to get stuff done. They have one person that's a picker, and they say, okay, well, this is what we need. Everything is set up so detailed, so detailed. They got one person walking around with a wagon, and then they got another area saying, okay, we need 10 of these, 5 of these, so on and so forth. And they got these things, and they're pulling that stuff around, and they get those packages filled. They put them on conveyor belts, and they have no missteps. Very few missteps in their production cycle. They are employed by Amazon. The warehouse workers work, and I believe they work in anywhere between 16 to maybe $20 an hour inside of their warehouses. Extremely structured, very little interacting, but at the same time, they have similar challenges when you interact with each other. Now that's with any job. And if anybody knows anything about United States Postal Service, it's a straight show when you work in one of our plants. I don't think that anybody has ever gotten in the comment section and said, hey, Jay, our warehouse works like clockwork. Not for the post office, not for the post office. So as far as their balance when it comes down to warehouse work, their work environment is easier than our work environment. Do they make as much as the mail handlers and the processing clerks? No. No. Are they getting benefits as Amazon worker? Yes, they get the basic, benefits. It's nothing that I can say, wow, this is better than ours. They're getting, the basic health insurance. I believe you can invest in the 401k with them once you hit like a certain length of time or a certain level with their management and lower management. The structure is definitely there in their warehouses. They man, you talk about, woo. They got beautiful lunch rooms. They got everything is so just as amazing. You can just walk up to a machine if you're on your lunch break and you see it and you want it. Yeah, you can get it because you use your badge and you can get whatever's in there. They just take it out of your check. So it's not like you need to have cash on hand. They'll take it out your check. So yes, they are extremely high tech. They're on a whole new level. I give them props for all of that with their warehouse stuff. Their warehouses are extremely clean. The people, though, it's always a challenge. Any place you have to work with a bunch of other people, there's always challenges while you're in there. If you're more of an introvert, that's probably a place that would work for you because you have to work solo a majority of the time. It's not a very, there's not a lot of hustle and bustle going on in there. There's not a lot of, you don't hear a lot of noise. The machines are running, but the environment is so controlled that you don't hear too many people interacting as you would at the United States Postal Service, which I think may be better because you don't see 5 people standing around talking about the game. They do that on their lunch breaks, but again, even with their lunch breaks, a lot of things are controlled to the T. It is also easier to get fired there as well. They don't have unions. We have the unions. Some people like them, some people hate them. It's up to you. The money end of it, definitely there's no comparison. There is no comparison. Overall, when it comes down to the Amazon versus USPS work-life balance, because Amazon is a plant as well, the plant life, they do work 24 hours a day. So they will have shifts all around the clock. You do have options to choose your times there. I do not believe they have part-time work. So some people say, "Oh, I'm gonna just work Amazon part-time." I don't believe they have part-time work. They have set days off. I wouldn't say set days, but they do offer, better scheduling than us. So again, it's a hit or miss what works best for you. If you are an individual that, you don't have kids, that life may work better for you. As far as the monetary, we knock it out the park because you have the overtime daily with the mail handlers. They do not have the overtime daily. I forgot to ask them about if they make overtime. If somebody does work for Amazon, you can comment and say, yeah, we do make overtime. But from what I understand, only the people that actually work for Amazon, the company, and have Amazon on their check, I believe those are the only people that receive overtime. Again, the 401ks, the work-life balance seems to be a little bit better, but they also have a higher turnover rate. Their demand is so structured, you have very little room to mess up. They have to fill their orders. They're not as laxed. They have a better name than we do at this point. So they don't handle they don't handle, mail. So it is what it is. When you have a fairly new company that's putting out this product, you have to take into consideration what type of product they're putting out and how often are they going to get kickbacks. The people that are in management stick around. The worker bees, they're there, they leave, they have a regular turnover rate. Our turnover rate is a lot higher. Again, Rob was telling me, he's seen people come and go, but typically they're so strategic where they put those plants. They put those plants in areas that have they have the people that need jobs. So you need a plant job, they are going to keep those people. They're always going to have people. Post office, they just, it's been around for so long, they just have stuff there. But they have a plant in the middle of, a area that does not have many jobs. People in that town are going to obviously go work there. So that's going to be their life. That's where they're going to be making their money. And that's how they're able to get away with all the stuff that they're able to get away with. With all that being said, would me personally, if I had the opportunity, being that I know both of them, well, I don't know Amazon, but if I knew, back then, and I had the choice between, mail handler or Amazon, the structure, I like that. But the opportunity to move up when it comes down to I have to choose my words carefully because people like to hold me to my words. Being able to progress and move around and get different positions, post office is where it would be at. You have some of the information. Will they or are they making what we make? No. Their warehouse workers make anywhere between $30,000 to maybe $40,000 a year, maybe. If you're actually a worker at the post office and you are a mail handler, even at your lower starting rate, hey, you could make anywhere between 45,000 for your first year if you actually work and up. So with all that being said, check out the videos that have to do with mail handlers that I have posted and make your own educated decision. Overall, it's really not an equal balance. The carriers, that's more of I wouldn't even call it a seasonal job, but that's more of a just to get you by until you're able to get something better type thing. Hence why they have a high turnover rate. Hence why you won't see the same carrier on your route every day. Like, I mean, they don't really have a route. They just got people coming in your neighborhood or your area. You won't see consistency when it comes to that because their turnover rate with their foot soldiers is higher. All right. So with that being said, this video, I wanted to get a little bit more research, and if you made it to the end of the video, obviously you know what we're doing right now. We're doing this whole because I love it. Because I love it. And if you made it to the end of the video, type ho ho ho. This is that JH with a little bit of information for you. Y'all have a good one.